Good evening, and welcome to the 19th Annual UTC College of Business Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame Dinner and Induction Ceremony. Tonight, I'm excited to join you to celebrate and honor the accomplishments of Jeffrey Morgan, Dawson Wheeler, and Marvin Webb. I'm also proud to recognize the College of Business Collegiate Spirit of Entrepreneurship Award winner, Kenzie Butera. Kenzie, congratulations. The College of Business has been recognizing entrepreneurial excellence through the Hall of Fame for nearly 2 decades, and we have several Hall of Fame members with us tonight. Please recognize them as I call their names. John Thornton. I don't know if I saw Joe come in, but Joe DeCosmo, we're going to give him a round of applause if Joe's here or not anyway. Jim Steffner. Rich Beecher. Pete Saradino. And Mike and Amy Walden. And we have a member of the Hall of Fame family with us tonight, Diane Walford. It is now my privilege to introduce Dr. Steve Angle, Chancellor of the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Please join me in welcoming Chancellor Angle.
Well, thank you. On behalf of all of the people who are the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, I get to welcome you to this great event and Hall of Fame induction. Thank you for being here tonight. I think this is an important event for our campus and for our community. UTC takes incredible pride in educating our students, providing the best possible educational experience, but trying to do that in a way that leverages our community, the resources, the needs in our community, and providing the programs, the service projects, the research, scholarship, and creative activities that connect with our community and help leverage what's already going on in our community and make what we do even better and the same for our community. And this event is one place where we certainly hope to do that. The College of Business, in many ways, is leading the path for the campus. The connection to the community that I remarked on just a moment ago was most evident when I came here a little over 4.5 years ago with the College of Business. When I went out in the community, I heard about this person, Robert Dooley. I heard about the College of Business. Now I hear about, I'm on the Dean's Advisory Committee. I'm part of what's happening at UTC. And we're doing a great job, and the School of Business is really helping to lead the way. I know we have a number of retirees, but faculty and staff and students of the College of Business, if you could stand up, we would like to acknowledge you and what you do for this community and this campus. This is entrepreneurship in action, risk-taking, passion, drive, and determination, not willing to fail, because they aren't going to give up on our students. Our students are our future, and it is such an honor to work with a dedicated group of people. And Interim Dean Michael Jones and Robert Dooley lead the way with incredible leadership in the college, and it is such a pleasure to work with them. You may know I've got Robert on a 6-month stint as interim provost, so I get to work with him even more closely than normal, and have enjoyed every moment of it. But thank you for what you do. We really appreciate it. The Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame is one way that UTC is helping to tee up, I think, the right questions that our community should be asking. The right things for our students to be thinking about. We're not asking if someone should step up with a great idea, if they should try. We're asking who is going to step up. How do we help? How do we help empower them, engage them, provide the right resources, provide some advice, provide the connection to somebody else who can see the way forward? How do we encourage creativity? How do we encourage people who are so determined to see things as they envision in the future? And I think the Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame is our way of encouraging budding entrepreneurs in our community. We're fanning the sparks that we hope will become flames and raging fires. We're highlighting the role models in our community so that others will help drive this local economy. And as we drive the local economy, you look at opportunities for our students and our faculty and staff to engage in what's going on here. What a way for an education for a student to be involved with a startup company, to see what it really takes, the risks that are taken, and sometimes it's failure. I'm an experimentalist, a chemist, and sometimes you try stuff just to see what's going to happen, and you just don't give up. And it's when you don't give up that the incredible magic happens and you see this all move forward. So entrepreneurship is really important to our campus. It's what's going to drive the Chattanooga community forward. When I look at what's been accomplished in Chattanooga as a relative newcomer, this community's accomplished the impossible. And we can imagine, what is the next Morgan Construction? What is the next Rock Creek Outfitters? And that's the question, not if. Do you think somebody's going to do this? They're going to do it, and they're going to do it incredibly well. It's how many can we empower? How can we at UTC be an attractor of talent and help see the best and brightest stay here in our community and contribute to the vibrant future that we all see for Chattanooga? So thank you for being here. Thank you for our honorees for allowing us to set you up as role models for this community, because I think that's what we are striving to do as a community. That's what makes this such a great place to be. We're looking at how high are we going to go, not can we get off the ground. We're ready to fly. We're in the air. And I think the stars are the limit. And that's what Chattanooga is, and I think that's why the Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame is such an important event for this community and for our campus. So thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Engel. So tonight we celebrate the 19th year of the UTC College of Business Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame. After this evening's induction ceremony, the photos and biographies of our newest members of the Hall of Fame will be enshrined on the 3rd floor of Fletcher Hall along with past honorees. Collectively, the Hall of Fame members illustrate how the power of entrepreneurship can transform a city. When I walk through the Hall of Fame and read the stories of these entrepreneurs, I'm struck by the breadth of the impact these business leaders have had on the local, regional, and national economy. They represent a wide variety of industries: steel, pharmaceuticals, retail, security, food products, entertainment, publishing, healthcare, hospitality, and more. And each of them helped shape the city of Chattanooga into what it is today. The Hall of Fame boasts members from the early days of Chattanooga's history as a railroad boomtown. Pioneers like Adolph Ox, who launched the Chattanooga Times newspaper before going on to create the New York Times. Entrepreneurs like Harry S. Probasco, who founded the American Trust and Banking Company. We have innovators like John Thomas Lepton, who with his partners obtained rights to Coca-Cola bottling. And we have leaders like Zebulon Carton Patton, who founded a medicine company that is now known as Chatham. Beginning in the mid-century, Chattanooga saw continued economic growth. Brothers Mose and Garrison Siskin launched Siskin Steel and Supply. a company which helped Chattanooga become known as the Dynamo of Dixie. McKee Foods, the company that created the much-loved Little Debbie snacks cakes, formed here in 1934. Lyle Finley launched Golden Gallon in 1950, and Joe Engel, a former baseball pitcher, made his name as a minor league baseball promoter and owner of the Chattanooga Lookouts, a team we still cheer for today. Later on, Joe DeCosmo founded Joe DeCosmo and Company CPA firm, and his business acumen has enabled his company to shape the economic and cultural life of Chattanooga for decades. In the 70s, Jim Steffner launched Electric Systems, Inc. and Metal Systems, Inc., and Dr. Rich Beecher had the vision to create one of the first HMOs in the United States and had the vision to create this Hall of Fame. The economic downturn and changing economy of the late 1970s and 80s meant that Chattanooga needed to look to new approaches to economic development. Business, government, and nonprofit leaders took the initiative and banded together to address some of the city's issues with a truly entrepreneurial approach. They saw the possibilities where others saw only problems, and they engaged civic leaders, business leaders, donors, and average citizens from across the city in a wide-reaching visioning project to see how Chattanooga could be improved. The public and private investments that followed resulted in the transformation of the riverfront and a kickstart to a new chapter for Chattanooga. Hall of Fame members like Senator Bob Corker, Bucky Wofford, Charles and Mary Portera, Mitch Patel, Mike and Amy Walden, Pete Saradino, John Thornton, and others were an important part of creating this new Chattanooga. And there are many other Hall of Fame members who have had no less of an impact. We also know there are many entrepreneurs from a variety of backgrounds who have not yet been recognized in the Hall of Fame, and their contributions to the success in Chattanooga and to the richness of its entrepreneurial landscape are vast and should be celebrated. And we want to tell their stories, and we look forward to continuing to add to the voices that are represented in the Hall of Fame and here tonight. The Hall of Fame inductees that we honor here tonight created companies with regional and national impact and have also played key roles in city's transformation. One, through the construction of many of the places where Chattanoogas live and work, and others by creating an outdoor retail experience that helped establish Chattanooga as a destination for outdoor enthusiasts. The next generation of entrepreneurs is having no less of an impact. Thanks to our thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem, Chattanooga is now home to a variety of new startups that are gaining traction. Companies like Bellhops, Branch Technology, Variable, and others are leveraging Chattanooga's gig to solve problems and create new ventures. The College of Business continues to play an important role in that entrepreneurial ecosystem. For entrepreneurship to thrive, it takes an interconnected network of visionaries, innovators, forward-thinking government leaders, skilled workers, social structures, and educational institutions. The College of Business is developing and supporting the entrepreneurial ecosystem, not just in the business school or with business majors, but across campus and with students who have a wide range of interests. We do that through engaging them in the classroom instruction, giving them the foundational knowledge they need to succeed. We do that by providing experiential learning opportunities so that students develop real-world skills. We do that by teaching entrepreneurial thinking that offers the opportunity for them to learn significant life skills that will serve them well and in the community, even if they never start a business. Initiative, self-reliance, adaptability, creativity, and risk-taking are critical skills to have, no matter where our students' careers paths might take them. And finally, we help build and sustain the entrepreneurial ecosystem by encouraging connections across campus, across the city, and to the broader business world. We encourage our students to connect with a variety of viewpoints and backgrounds and to make sure that we have a diversity of voices and perspectives around the table. These connections allow our faculty, our students, and business leaders to grow and work together to create a new knowledge, combine ideas, and reach creative solutions to the challenges we face. You'll hear more from Dr. Beverly Brockman tonight, the head of our Marketing and Entrepreneurship Department, as she describes our entrepreneurship programs and its accomplishments. But as we move forward, investing in entrepreneurial education will be critical to the ongoing success of our city and our region. It offers the potential to further transform our community and the lives of the people who call Chattanooga home. Through this investment, we help ensure that our students and our city are prepared to embrace whatever comes next, and we provide the tools they need to create the innovations that would propel us to a better future. So welcome tonight. We're so proud to have our new inductees, and we look forward to hearing their entrepreneurial story and their entrepreneurial journeys. Congratulations. And now I would like to invite Dr. Phil Roundy, who, by the way, just recently won the University Research Award. So congratulations to Dr. Roundy, one of our entrepreneurship faculty, who will give our invocation. Following the invocation, please enjoy your dinner, and the program will resume after dessert.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this night and for the opportunity to gather to honor the entrepreneurial accomplishments of our community. We thank you, Lord, for the creativity, the innovativeness, and the other gifts that you have provided. And we ask, Lord, that you please bless the meal that we're about to eat, that you continue to guide us in our entrepreneurial endeavors, and that you put on our hearts a desire to use our abilities not in the pursuit of self, but to create businesses and organizations that lift up the less fortunate, that generate value for society, that serve as engines for economic development, and that strengthen our communities. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Please enjoy your meal.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Please continue to enjoy your dinner and your dessert. We are going to go ahead and resume our program. I'm Dr. Beverly Brockman, and I'm head of the Marketing and Entrepreneurship Department at UTC. Thank you all so very much for coming tonight and helping us to celebrate entrepreneurship, to celebrate our wonderful new inductees into the Hall of Fame. And we're just so glad to see you here. Entrepreneurship is both a mindset and a skill set. Entrepreneurial mindset is an attitude. It's a way of approaching life professionally, personally, academically, that we all recognize as important for success. Initiative, self-reliance, adaptability, creativity, calculated risk-taking. These characteristics, this way of approaching life, serve as the base, the drivers for the skills in entrepreneurship that are critical for new venture development of all types. Skills such as opportunity recognition, problem solving, collaboration, team building, leadership, and maximizing the use of limited resources. We strive to develop entrepreneurial mindset and skill set in our entrepreneurship majors, of course. But what is sometimes overlooked is how these characteristics transcend one specific major, as they're critical for success in all disciplines: art, music, theater, engineering, computer science, the health professions. Think of a T-shaped learning model, where on your horizontal bar you've got your entrepreneurial mindset and your skill set, characteristics that are important in all disciplines. And on your vertical bar lie your discipline-specific skills that are important for specific industries. Developing an entrepreneurial mindset and skill set for our students is a challenge for us. It's a challenge for educators everywhere. But it's also one of the greatest opportunities we have to prepare our students to thrive in the 21st century. While entrepreneurship pedagogy continues to evolve, one aspect has become very clear. Students need hands-on application, action. They need the actual experience of creating and building and collaborating. This experiential component needs to work hand in hand with the academic theoretical side. They work side by side. As you'll see in the video that we'll present in just a minute, UTC already offers some strong entrepreneurial elements in its entrepreneurship program. We also recognize the need to expand this experiential component and the need to develop entrepreneurial mindset and skill set across disciplines. And this is why we are so excited about the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship that we will soon be opening on UTC's campus. The center is a cross-campus initiative promoting interdisciplinary collaboration among students and faculty. A primary goal of the center is to increase the pipeline of students that are getting out into this amazing entrepreneurial community. Through applied research, projects, internships, involvement in community activities, and new venture startup, the center will help us extend the critically important experiential component of education, and in doing that, help our students develop the entrepreneurial mindset and skill set that is needed to thrive today and in the future. So if you'll please draw your attention to the screens on the side, we'd like to show you a little bit of some of the activities that we've been doing this past year in entrepreneurship. It has been a busy year here at UTC, but also a very exciting year. We've had lots of wonderful programs that we have continued from previous years, but we're also so excited about many of the opportunities that we're going to be building out in the future, including our Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Our Veterans Entrepreneurship Program continues to successfully change the lives of military veterans by helping them launch or grow their own businesses. Now in its 7th year, the VEP offers free training and mentoring in entrepreneurship and small business management to our nation's veterans. Thanks to the generous underwriting support of the program's presenting donor, Walden Security. Many thanks to Mike and Amy Walden for their generous support. Since the program began, VEP has had a total of 95 graduates and helped launch or grow more than 35 businesses, including several in the Chattanooga area. With the Entrepreneurship Breakfast, all College of Business students have the opportunity to learn firsthand about the entrepreneurial mindset from successful Chattanooga entrepreneurs. The UTC students, as well as faculty, staff, and community members who attended the breakfast, gained great insight on what it takes to start and grow a venture, and also got an inside look at Mr. Patel's journey to success. Another huge program for us is the Southeast Entrepreneurship Conference, or the SEEK Conference, a student-focused regional entrepreneurship conference. Students from UTC and from colleges and universities all around the country participated in the 2-day event. We have had amazing participation from not only the students across the country with this program, but also wonderful participation from the Chattanooga entrepreneurship community. The UTC College of Business hosted its annual student pitch competition this spring. The continued success of the student pitch competition is a testament to the quality teaching and support from the entrepreneurship faculty at UTC, as well as the business support from the Chattanooga entrepreneurship community. Some other programs that we have that have been highly successful for us include Solution Scholars Program. It's now in its 3rd year of existence. Students work as research interns for clients of the Tennessee Small Business Development Center. Thus far, Solution Scholars clients have secured over $5 million in capital, earned over $14 million in revenue, and added or retained 101 jobs. Dr. Phil Roundy won the UTC Faculty Research Award for 2018, which is quite an accomplishment. We also have a practicum that Dr. Diane Halstead teaches, paid internships for TSBDC clients. Our relationship with CoLab continues to grow. We so appreciate all of the opportunities that they provide for our students, in addition to the work with TSBDC and BDC. We are so very fortunate to have these strong connections with this wonderful community.
They're taking people who have ideas and who are creative, and maybe they're from different backgrounds. Maybe they're art students, maybe they're engineering students. You know, they really collaborate everyone into one group, and it really is a culture for innovation. And I've really just enjoyed being with the program.
For me, as a computer science student, it's kind of been my creative outlet. I can kind of see it as a way of using my computer science skills post-graduation. So I've been learning different skills, and I've been meeting different people, all who kind of help me figure out what that's going to look like next once I graduate.
Entrepreneurship has really given me the drive and the passion to use my knowledge that I've learned through gender studies. I've learned that I don't need to wait for my boss to tell me to do something. I need to take the initial drive to go ahead and do that. So it's really just altered my mindset, I think, is the most important part.
And now, we would like to recognize one of our outstanding entrepreneurship students with the Collegiate Spirit of Entrepreneurship Award. It is my distinct privilege to bestow this award, given to a UTC student who exhibits passion and potential for entrepreneurial pursuits by demonstrating the key entrepreneurial characteristics of leadership, commitment, determination, resourcefulness, and a focus on both the opportunity and the team. This year's recipient is most deserving of this award, Kenzie Butera. Come on up, Kenzie. Kenzie is a rising senior at UTC, majoring in gender studies with a minor in entrepreneurship. She is a very active Brock Scholar, UTC's premier honors program, and president of the UTC Entrepreneurship Club. Kenzie's involvement in eClub has been critical in seeing the club expand in size, participation, and campus reach. In addition, she leveraged her connections through the National Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization to help recruit students, speakers, and sponsors to participate in UTC's highly successful Southeast Entrepreneurship Conference. Thank you for that. Off campus, Kenzie is currently employed by CoLab, a nonprofit accelerator program where she helps with programming and university engagement. Kenzie leverages her experiences in gender studies and entrepreneurship to help develop and promote women-owned businesses. In addition to CoLab, Kenzie is on the Student Advisory Board for Launch Tennessee, which is the state's premier resource for entrepreneurs. She's on the Youth Leadership Council for Reproductive Rights organization Healthy and Free Tennessee. And she is also a member of the Nightingale Network, a philanthropy group supporting organizations that work with women and children. In her spare time, Kenzie is also working on a couple startups of her own. She is working to develop a comprehensive sex education curriculum to increase awareness and reduce the number of abusive relationships. She's working on a workshop series on the gender gap in startup capital investment, and she's even working on a craft beer popsicle company with a coworker. Kenzie plans to stay in the startup community upon graduation, which is completely our gain, let me tell you. Please join me in congratulating Kenzie.
Pull up my notes so don't miss anybody. Thank you so much, Dr. B. Okay, so first I would like to thank Linda Frost. She is a member of the Honors College Administration, and she introduced me to Dr. Phil Roundy when I took my first social entrepreneurship course. It was my first entrepreneurship course ever. Dr. Roundy, thank you for your strict attendance policy. You can only miss one class, but he made me love social entrepreneurship. I had to learn it, and I fell in love with it. Thank you to Liza Soyden for running Solution Scholars. She taught me that I can learn any industry and that I'm not limited to what I know now, and I value that greatly. I would like to say thank you to my peers, Jacob Perdue and Grace McPherson. They bring their radiant sources of energy and life, and they bring that to E-Club, and they encourage me, and they motivate me, and it's really cool to have peers that you really admire and can be role models for you. I want to thank the E-Club members and our advisor, Adam Walcott. I would like to thank Laura Perryman, who, quite frankly, is the real president of E-Club, because she thinks about all of the little details that we would have missed otherwise. I would also like to thank Dean Dooley. He is actually the reason that I have 6,000 square feet of plastic in my car right now, because he encouraged me to think outside of the box with E-Club and do something big. So we attempted to make the world's largest game of Twister. But we bought all of the supplies before we had university permission. So, you know, it is what it is. And then, of course, Dr. B, I cannot thank you enough for being a constant mentor and advisor to me. You are so valuable to all of your students, and I hope that you know that we talk about how much we look up to you, truly. And it's really cool to see a female role model like Dr. B who's doing all of these things, like bringing an entrepreneurship center to the university. That's really cool, and Dr. B had a huge hand in that. And then as far as community thanks go, I do want to thank CoLab for encouraging me to combine my passions for social equity with strategic responsibilities, particularly Marcus Shaw, Ashley Owens, and Allison Reedy, who particularly have taken me under their wing. Also Launch Tennessee for giving me a job, first of all, and for encouraging students like me to really get involved with our local communities. And then Launch Chattanooga for allowing E-Club to partner with us partner with them and host the student pitch competition for high schoolers. I want to thank Rachel McLeod and Lynn Chestnut at the BDC for always being happy, welcoming, encouraging faces. I truly, truly appreciate that. And then I want to thank Stephanie Crow and Christina Montague at the Jump Fund, because they are just hugely, immensely positive impacts on our community and on me personally. And then I want to thank Felicia Jackson for being my mentor and a constant example of how to turn your passions into a career. And then they said I can't say thanks to family, but thank you, Mom, for coming and being here all the way from Nashville. It means the world to me. Thank you.
And now we come to the induction of the newest members to the Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame. As you'll soon hear, Jeff Morgan launched his business when he was only 23. We wanted you to learn a little bit more about him and his company, so if you'll please turn your attention to the video screens again, we'll show you another short video.
Start off by telling us your name and your position.
My name is Jeff Morgan. I am the founder and president of Morgan Construction Company, Incorporated.
Philip Higginbotham, Vice President of estimating.
Walter Ford. I'm in my 31st year here with the company.
I'm Rick Clark. I'm superintendent.
Matt Williams, project manager.
I'm Tiffany Dowden, and I've been here at Morgan for 14 and a half years.
I started a business when I was 23 years old in 1983. Been able to build a team of really talented individuals that have propelled this company way beyond what I believed it could ever be. I worked construction to put myself through college, and then from there it just became a passion. Just the desire to see something being built and being part of that. It's more than any kind of monetary reward that one could receive.
You know, I've been doing this 42 years, and you always learn new things. We do what we do because we like doing it. If you didn't, you wouldn't be in this business. It's a tough job. It's a tough business to be in.
in this construction industry, man, it's hard. I mean, they care about your health, they care about your family, and that's just unbelievable.
We are truly a team, because it makes you feel satisfied and fulfilled to watch something go from a pile of dirt to a beautiful building and know that you contributed in some way to that.
We're not one of these big companies. I mean, there's 16 of us here in the office, and we consistently get large jobs done, and that's how we prove it. We tell you we're going to be done, we make it happen. It doesn't take an army of us. It takes a select few putting their heads down and getting it done.
You know, that is what carries us to this day, is when we tell somebody we're going to do something, we're going to do it.
And now I would like to invite Mr. Robert Ledbetter to the stage to introduce our honoree, Mr. Jeff Morgan.
Good evening. I have no doubt if Bucky were here tonight, he would be standing here and doing a heck of a lot better job than I could do. And in Bucky's honor, sugar lips. I just had to get that out there. So Jeff and I called a quick I guess, exchange, a hit and run. So I live in Rome, Georgia, so whatever I say, I can just kind of get a hit and run and get out of here. But anyway, I'm honored that I've been asked to introduce my great friend, my business and hunting partner. Imagine yourself 30 years ago, actually longer than that. No gray hair, no wrinkles, fresh out of college, no smartphones, no computers, no office staff, no money. Just a pickup truck and the will to work hard and get things done. As I was reading through the mission of this Hall of Fame, it's an understatement to say that Jeff Morgan checks all the boxes as a true American entrepreneur, a true Chattanooga entrepreneur. Tonight, we are here to honor and celebrate his entrepreneurial legacy, which will last many lifetimes throughout the Chattanooga area, the state of Tennessee, and the rest of the country. Jeff's work and his company has touched the lives of many, many who know him and many who will never know him. Through the places we eat, shop, sleep, buy our food, places of industry and manufacturing, places we go for our health care, and where we study and learn. I know this type of recognition is not one he would ever seek. He is humble, kind, and would prefer just to fly below the radar. Thank you to this hall for your consideration and selection of Jeff Morgan. He is the quintessential entrepreneur role model this hall and university seeks to represent the entrepreneurial perspective to this community and to these current students. To build upon this perspective, I would like to give you just a little more information on Jeff. He's a man of faith. He loves his family. He's loyal, committed, and a man of integrity and character. He cares deeply for his employees, many of whom you've just seen, have been with him from the beginning. He is, as John Walter Whalen describes, a man whose conduct proceeds from goodwill and an acute sense of propriety, whose self-control is equal to all emergencies, who does not make the poor man conscious of his poverty, the obscure man of his obscurity, or any man of his inferiority or deformity, who himself is humbled if necessity compels him to humble another, who does not flatter wealth, cringe before power, or boast of his own possessions or achievements, who speaks with frankness but always sincerity and sympathy, whose deed follows his word, who thinks of the rights and feelings of others rather than of his own, and who appears well in any company, a man with whom honor is sacred and virtue is safe. He is a true gentleman, a friend, and a colleague, and it's my distinct honor and privilege to introduce to you Jeff Morgan.
Thank you, Bob, for those kind words. Bob, his late father, and the entire Ledbetter family, who have a phenomenal entrepreneurial legacy of their own, have been a great friend to me and to Morgan Construction for a long, long time. Chancellor Engel, Dr. Dooley, Dr. Brockman, members of the nominating committee, it is with great humility that I stand here tonight. This is an impactful body of people, and I'm proud to be judged, to be accounted among them. Thank you, Thunder. Thank you, Mike. I'm honored most of all tonight to share this podium with my friends Dawson Wheeler and Marvin Webb, who I have known since high school. These are two true Chattanooga champions, and I'm honored to be here with them. So the question became, how did you become an entrepreneur, and who helped you get there? I am, without a doubt, a product of my father's nurturing, and I would not be here tonight were it not for the influence he had on my life in the 25 years that I knew him. My father, John Morgan, wanted his children to learn that with hard work and conviction to what you were doing, you could be anything you wanted to be. From an early age, he taught us the lessons, with menial tasks tied to some sort of an allowance, working our way up as we grew to a 40-hour-a-week summer job starting when we were 14. The Morgan family was blessed, but our father wanted us to know that if you want the good stuff, you work for it. Those summer jobs that he always made sure we had exposed us to real people from real walks of life. People who had real struggles, people who had real dreams, and that was part of the lesson plan. My goal every summer was to put $1,000 in the Pioneer Bank. My father advised, when you get your paycheck on Friday, you go to the main branch downtown. Don't you go to that drive-through window. You go inside, you let them see you, dirty boots and all. They'll want to know who you are. My early entrepreneurial lessons came via my dad. I paid him rent to use his lawnmower to mow the neighbor's lawn. Small loans that were paid back over time. I had a firewood cutting partnership in high school. I sold junk at the 23rd Street Flea Market. And most importantly, I established bank credit when I was 18 years old as a senior in high school with a loan from the Pioneer Bank. My father was always proud of those small successes. That was the unique thing about my father. No matter how mediocre your results were, he always found a way to be proud of you. So at 18, it was off to UTK I went. 4.5 years of mediocre results and low expectations for myself. Somewhere in about the third year, physically, not academically, the third year, I announced to my parents that I was going to drop out of college. The World's Fair was being built in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I wanted to work there in construction. My mother would have nothing of it. No one under her watch was going backwards. So I did actually graduate from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. The words Morgan Construction Company Incorporated, Chattanooga, Tennessee, were first doodled on a notepad in the back of a classroom on the UTK campus. At graduation, I knew the carefree days of college were over. The school of hard knocks was likely to come next. I reflected on my family and all the things that had been done for me, and I knew how poorly I had performed. I looked in the mirror one morning, and I wasn't happy with what I saw. And I said, "That's over. The future is up to you. Your father has done more for you than you deserved. Now step up and be somebody." The week after graduation, I went to work in Huntsville, Alabama on a construction site. I soon learned that $6 an hour wouldn't pay the bills. Long story short, I stayed 8 weeks. Determined now more than ever not to ask my father for help. Although my dad would have helped me, all I had to do was ask. I went to a former boss I'd worked for in the summertime named Paul Walker, a local builder and developer, and asked for a job. Mr. Walker said he had nothing for me. And then he said, "You know what you really need to do? You need to go into business for yourself. Build one spec house, market it, sell it, you'll be in business. You'll be fine. I've got an empty office with a telephone down the hall, and you can use it until you get on your feet. You'll need a bank loan. I've got friends in banking too, and they'll be glad to help you." Obviously, there was some skepticism at home with Mom and Dad when I announced my new plan. My dad finally said, "I'm not going to stand in your way, and if you need my help, just ask." And then came the most important piece of advice that my father would ever give me. If you tell someone you're going to do something, do it, even when it hurts. You'll get one chance at a reputation, make it a good one. My meeting with Mr. Walker's bank friends was short. "We'll loan you anything your dad will sign for," were the words I remember. I walked 2 blocks to the Pioneer Bank without an appointment, and I walked in and I asked to see Mr. Lackey, the vice president. Mr. Lackey looked up from his desk and he smiled and he said, "Come on in here, Jeff. I remember you." I sat down. He asked a few questions. "So you graduated from college? Good, good. It's been working? Good. So now what are you going to do?" "Well, Mr. Lackey, I want to start a construction business and I need to borrow $120,000. He looked at me. The questions got a little more intense. And finally he said, "Wait right here." He got up and he walked about 20 feet to the president's desk. There was a short conversation between the two of them. the president got up and walked back to Mr. Lackey's desk and sat down next to me. A few more questions were asked. They probed a little deeper. And finally, the president of the bank spoke up and said, "Jeff, there's a big C in credit, and it stands for character. We think you've got that. We've watched you work for years. We know your work ethic. You've borrowed money here before. Your credit's good with us." That whole conversation took about 30 minutes. A simple 2-page document was signed with my signature, and Morgan Construction Company was officially in business. I built that first project fast, and I built it well. The Sunday after I completed it, it sold, and I was going to make $20,000. About 2 weeks later, the call came. The purchaser's funds had fallen through, and there would be no quick sale. You see, the Lord had a different plan for Jeff Morgan, and easy money was not going to be the deal. But I got a break in the small commercial work, and I found my way into Eastgate Mall, where I built small shops. I worked hard. I worked long hours. I paid my bills. I collected my money, and I paid myself last. And finally, I sold that house at a loss. But my head was above water, and I had begun to establish that all-important thing, a good reputation. That following year, I bid 19 straight jobs unsuccessfully. It seemed the Lord wasn't through yet. I knew I needed to find a niche. Targeting fast food restaurants, I found my way to Bojangles Corporation in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I was awarded my first $250,000 job. El Chico Mexican restaurant on Shallowford Road followed soon thereafter, a $500,000 job. Before we completed that project, the owner of that project asked me a question. Do you think you could build a 132-room hotel? Absolutely. My father always told me, nobody ever picked a wallflower off the wall. If you want it, you got to go get it. And I did. That project at $1,720,000 was 3.5 times as large as anything we had ever built, and it was a huge success. Shortly thereafter, a young shopping center developer named Barry Alford awarded Morgan Construction our first freestanding shopping center in Alcoa, Tennessee. Soon thereafter, our first grocery store. That grocery store opened the doors to Food Line, at that time the fastest growing grocery store chain in America. Morgan Construction Company was lucky to meet people like Rick English, who we ultimately built 9 shopping centers for. Shortly thereafter, Jim Kennedy Sr. with Kenco Group awarded Morgan Construction Company a 240,000 square foot distribution center that was to be occupied by General Mills. I was 27 years old. In the early 90s, Morgan Construction Company became well known as being an aggressive, on-time builder of grocery stores, drugstores, and neighborhood shopping centers throughout the Southeast. We built more than buildings. We built relationships with customers that have lasted for decades. I first met R.H. Ledbetter Properties in 1996, and we still are working with them today. Somewhere along the way, a German grocery store chain called Aldi found us in North Carolina. We built 3 stores for them, and they called on the phone and said, "We think you get it. We'd like to talk about some more." That was 110 stores ago. In 1999, the call came from Bucky Wolford. Bucky was starting his own business. After a phenomenal career with CBL and Associates, he had developed over 22 million square feet of retail projects. Any contractor from anywhere would have liked to have had Bucky Wolford's business. Morgan got the order. All of you knew Bucky as an intense businessman and a great negotiator. And he was all those things and more. I knew Bucky Wolford, the man. He became a great friend, a mentor, and one of the greatest men I ever knew. In 2009, the financial crisis dealt a severe blow to the retail construction business, and Morgan Construction Company had to make some tough choices. We pivoted on what I called reputation leverage to strategic diversification of our company. And now we can proudly point to large successful projects in senior health care, office, medical, industrial, manufacturing, education, institutional parking structures, large multifamily, and our retail base. We have been privileged to work for some of the world's largest companies and have been blessed with some of the finest people and developers in the industry. I hope that as I have told this story tonight, you realize that somewhere around 1985, I moved from using the word I to using the word we, because that is the year that I began to surround myself with an incredibly talented group of people. Walter Ford, Vice President of Operations, who has been with me for 33 years. Dan Phillips, Project Manager, 27 years. And Philip Higginbotham in his 24th year. There are too many others to name by name, but it's fair to say, if I am the locomotive, the people of Morgan Construction Company are the steam. These people are the best of the best. They're life learners, and they have never failed. They refuse to lose. And most of all, when our backs have been against the wall, when the water has been deep, they have always followed through. We have done what we said we were going to do when we said we were going to do it without fail. I think one of the greatest testaments you can get to a business success is a repeat customer. I am proud to say that in 35 years, Morgan Construction Company has enjoyed a 97% repeat business ratio. Lastly, I'd like to thank my wife of 30 years, Melissa. I was 3 years into the journey of building Morgan Construction when she and I met. It was obvious to me that God had sent a partner for my journey. She has been a solid rock and a trusted friend. We've raised 3 fine children that I am extremely proud of, Bree, John, and Mary Austin. And I look forward to watching each of them create their own brand of success, whatever that may be. It is said that behind every good man there is a great woman, and I am living proof of that. Tonight, the glory for what has been accomplished at Morgan Construction these last 35 years belongs to God. The praise belongs to the people who have made it happen. Thank you for this very special honor.
that was amazing, wasn't it? Dawson Wheeler and Marvin Webb are the founders of Rock Creek. This outdoor retailer is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. We wanted you to have the chance to learn more about them and their vision, so if you'll please turn your attention one more time to the screens.
Mountains drew me. And I remember 5, 6 years old, every day after church, I would be out climbing the building, going camping, driving through the mountains, anything. I was totally drawn to that.
I started out at 5, 6 years old. You slept in the carport, and then, eventually you had the courage on a sleepover that you go out in the backyard. And then by 9 years old, my parents were willing to drive us down to Star Mountain and literally drop us off, scared to death the whole time. I look back and think my parents were trying to lose me, really, because they were always so willing to take me out and drop me off in the middle of nowhere.
We were good friends. I was coming up to Chattanooga to rock climb. I'd heard Dawson had bought Canoe's headquarters, and so went over, visited, and probably within 20, 30 minutes of conversation, Dawson goes, well, would you be interested in coming in with me and doing this? No paperwork, no nothing, on a handshake, split the business 50-50, off we go.
We started working on name change, and we landed on Rock Creek. Rock for rock climbing and creek for boating.
Rock/creek.
Yep. We sold duct tape, rivets, thwarts, gunnels. Some of the old climbers would come in and help paint, and it became a hangout. That's where people wanted to spend their time.
You kind of look at the name Rock Creek, and I've always pictured Marvin as kind of the rock part of that. He's solid, very foundational, and Dawson is definitely the creek part where there's a lot of fluidity to what he does. And it was very funny how even just the name really embodied their kind of two independent spirits and how they really do tie together.
We had an ashtray in the store. People would come in and stand around the front counter and talk about climbing and canoeing and lighting up cigarettes, and it was crunchy.
I can remember Marvin said hello to me, and he said, well, if you hang around for a while, I'm sure I'll get to know your name. And I said, well, I will be around for a while. I'll be looking forward to getting to know you. The work ethic, the ability to take a piece of coal and just squeeze it to death until you find the diamond on the inside. That's how they both operate.
We never looked at our bank account. We considered ourselves educators, and the sale came as an afterthought. We would cherry pick from all the different companies because we knew equipment. And they would say, oh, nobody does it that way. You've got to make a strong presence in this pack line or this clothing line or shell line. And we would go, no, because those pieces suck. This one's good, and we know it's good. And I think a lot of the community was picking up on that. I guess we started establishing that credibility.
This is an outdoor town. They're very active. They know the brands that we sell, and they know Rock Creek.
They know that Rock Creek is more than just a retail store. It's here's what we're trying to do out in the community for access, for trail building, for all these things. Those places are just as important for those customers as they are for us too, and they see that and they know that.
At our core, at Rock Creek's soul, we have to be involved in the community. Working with land managers, both public and private, working with governments, trying to create better access points and resources in the backcountry around Chattanooga. None of that happens if the retail component of our business doesn't continue to flourish. So we can do the things that really matter to our community, and that's being out there and being involved.
The joke has always been the quickest way to get out of the outdoors is to get in the outdoor business. And being able at our age to be out fishing, hiking, climbing, paddling, cycling, and still have our health is really a full circle experience. It's what got us here to begin with, and it was perfect that we had these two great guys that were very hard workers, really bright, worked their way to senior positions, and dear friends. You have to truly love it. If you don't wake up with a smile on your face,
passionate about what you do.
yeah, then you need to do something different. It's very holistic endeavor. You know, it's families in, you're in, vacations are in. You're there on Christmas Eve, you're there on July 3rd, you know, so you better love it. And I think they do, you know, I think they do.
It's important for Rock Creek to continue to be a town center, to be a central point where customers can come together, can find the gear they're looking for to get outside, and can talk with us on a friendly basis, on a we know you basis, and help them get what they need to get outside and have the most fun and be safe while they're out there. Rock Creek is 30 years in business, and our goal is for there to be another 30 years for the staff that are coming after us and beyond.
And now I'd like to invite Mr. Chad Weichel, Vice President of Rock Creek, to introduce Mr. Dawson Wheeler and Mr. Marvin Webb.
Well, first things first, for sure. On behalf of Marvin and Dawson and Rock Creek, congratulations to Mr. Morgan and Morgan Construction Company. In our world, we would look to you guys and refer to you as being hard as woodpecker lips. Thanks for that, Dawson. Dig in here. I need glasses. Let's see if we can get them out. Maybe I can do it without them. Let's just see if I can do it without them. Eyesight's going, but I printed in size 16 font, so maybe I can make it happen. My wife Rebecca and I moved to Chattanooga in May of 2001. At the time, both of us were fully taken with the sport of rock climbing. We were born, raised, and proudly cut our climbing teeth in the high country of North Carolina. But we had fallen in love with Chattanooga on extended and frequent rock climbing and camping trips, and we couldn't resist the move. We arrived in Chattanooga. I was naturally drawn to Rock Creek and had several good climbing friends that worked there. I knew it first as a customer, and I loved just visiting and being in the old shop at the corner of Tremont and Fraser. It was an outdoor hub, and already well known for carrying the very best in outdoor gear and apparel. Local and traveling outdoor enthusiasts, climbers, paddlers, hikers, backpackers, trail runners, all came in frequently for the best of best gear and information about the backcountry around Chattanooga. The two owners, Marvin Webb and Dawson Wheeler, were very well respected as outdoor hard men and passionate outdoor educators. That, coupled with the thoughtful hiring of like-minded outdoor folks, made Rock Creek uniquely authentic. By June of 2001, I was hired as a floor staff, thanks Matt Sims, and worked my way to a management position. I loved my job. I loved Rock Creek, and I loved working and learning about the outdoor industry. During that time, I came to know, love, and respect two men that would become my mentors, Marvin Webb and Dawson Wheeler. I watched and learned a work ethic from them that epitomized first in, last out. I learned dedication to community. I learned working problems to solution. I learned about the need to protect our outdoor resources. And I learned about the restorative power of pristine green view sheds. I learned how outdoor specialty retail can be used to spearhead the support and maintenance of our wildlands. and I learned that many hands make light work. That is to say, teamwork. But I also learned that sometimes you just got to roll up your own sleeves, and as Dawson has often said, get her done. Like many of the longtime employees of Rock Creek, I've worked my entire adult life in an effort to support my family and my Rock Creek work family. Part of my drive, again, like so many other Rock Creekers, was a desire to make these two men proud of all of our work and proud of me. They are the founders of an incredible tribe that spans 30 years. I am proud to be a part of that tribe. 10 years ago, Marvin shared with me what I consider to be one of life's secrets, and perhaps the secret to Rock Creek. You'll know that you're doing it right, he said, when there's no longer a dividing line between work and life. It all becomes part of you, and you become part of it. Work and life become one. Both Marvin and Dawson are authentic models of that tenet. Here's to the way out there. Please join me in congratulating these two fine business leaders, these two fine men.
Thank you. And when I first came in, looking at the schedule, I saw that, or I asked Dawson who was going first to get their award, and he said Jeff Morgan. I was like, God, I wanted to go first. And Dawson's like, no, much better if Jeff goes first. And no, he's wrong. I'm going to start hanging out with you. First, I want to thank and parallel Jeff, but Chancellor Engel, thank you. Dean Dooley, Beverly, and Katrina with the logistics crew. Fine job, and we really appreciate it. I've spent most of my life involved in risk-oriented sports. I've gone on many adventures. But standing here at this podium, receiving such recognition is the most terrifying thing I've ever done. I personally want to thank my family for their support and understanding through years of long hours and crazy schedules. I love you all, and I would not be here without you. I would like to sincerely thank Dawson Wheeler, dear friend and business partner for 30-plus years, someone who always had my back, who has lived and breathed Rock Creek from the first day we opened the store. As many partnerships tend to fail, ours has thrived. I also want to thank my Lord, Jesus Christ, whom I've leaned heavily on throughout my time at Rock Creek. And I truly give him full credit for any accolades pointing to me. Dawson will speak to this in a minute, but I still want to voice a special, heartfelt recognition to all past and present staff and managers with whom we feel share equally in this recognition. It's not about just Dawson and I, it's about all of us. So as seen on the video, Rock Creek began as a high school dream. And it was funny because Dawson and I both had it simultaneously, same day in the same dorm room. 10 to 11 years later, that dream became a reality as we somehow came back together, hooked up, as again the video said, and we opened our first store. 30 plus years later, standing here very humble, it makes us extremely proud of Rock Creek and all that we have worked so hard to accomplish. Beginning in basically a rehabbed barn in Hickson, off of Hickson Pike, Rock Creek now has 7 locations, 4 in Chattanooga, 1 on the Ocoee River, 1 in Cleveland, Tennessee, 1 in Nashville, and we have an e-com site. Throughout my time at Rock Creek, I would say there were very, very few days that I didn't drive to work psyched. We never considered ourselves retailers. It almost had a negative connotation. Nor did we act like traditional retailers, at least within our industry. From early on, we pretty much defined our own rules of business. We negotiated different ways of doing business with our vendor partners. We strove to remain authentic and true to our mission. Slight intermission. We basically thought more of ourselves as educators, and this is how we also mentored our staff, to be credible, extremely knowledgeable about what you're selling, and to serve the customer's needs, never to sell them. The common thread or DNA within all of us at Rock Creek is that we all share the same passion for the outdoors, and we all love to share that passion with our market and our community. We created stores we hoped would inspire customers when they first walked in the door. We always referred to our store locations as adult toy stores, not to be confused. We stressed, having witnessed intimidation ourselves, that our store had to be comfortable and safe for the beginner, as well as home for the experienced user. A place where people could come talk about their last adventure and get inspired about their next trip. Funny and surprising how many people thought that Rock Creek was some big national franchise. We're a very small business. You said your business was small. Come on. So people, thought we had a small business, or a large business, but we were a very small business, and basically in a small business you have very few economies of scale. So all duties must get accomplished by a limited few, meaning that Dawson and I both have swept a lot of floors and cleaned a lot of toilets. There is no way we could have accomplished what we did without empowering our staff to grow and make decisions. Challenging management decisions was welcome as long as alternative decisions were well thought. No door was ever closed to any employee. And within this environment, we always set a very high bar. We never believed in sales commissions because we felt this could create the wrong motivation or temptation for staff to serve their own needs over the customer's needs. At year end, we share profits. All for one, one for all. Or more descriptive in Rock Creek terms, share the love, share the pain. The term Rock Creek family is spoken daily within Rock Creek and even outside of Rock Creek. And I just stuck this in at the last minute because this came to me this morning. And I wanted to share it because this type of correspondence comes to Dawson and I frequently. It comes from Dawson and I to the staff frequently, and it goes across the staff frequently. So this is a text I got this morning. Has nothing to do with this event or anything, and it's somewhat common. Good morning, Marvin. I just wanted to thank you for allowing me to become part of the Rock Creek family. My gratitude stems not only from the good times, there were many and fill my heart with joy, but also the necessary difficulties encountered along the way. I know change is coming, but I know the essence and energy bestowed upon all touched and involved with Rock Creek will live on. Thank you for being a hard mentor and a friend. That type of thing comes from the way we treat and we feel about each other. We support each other professionally. We support each other personally. We have laughed together and we have cried together. It's retail. A closing blanket statement. We believe in the benefits of time spent outdoors, whether pushing limits or going on a day hike with friends. There is so much personal growth and self-reflection to be gained. Relaxation, the ability to unplug, to simplify, just going back to what's real. And so we're so grateful for having made our career supporting and encouraging anyone and everyone seeking the same rewards. Thank you.
I'm glad we've saved the worst for last. Hopefully you're sleepy at this point. Jeff, I can't tell you how honored I am to be here with you and your family. You've meant a lot to me through the years. I can remember, quick note, at the Cap Sig House with Jeff Morgan, Mike St. Charles, our leader, that while we were doing fraternity things, Jeff was in the basement remodeling our social area. Saws blazing, hammers swinging. It only stands right that you're here today. I'm also very humbled and honored to be receiving the award, and again, thank you to the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and the College of Business. I would concur with Marvin that standing here is much more difficult than some of the challenges I've had in my adventures, which include being nose to nose with a few grizzly bears. I'd like to elaborate on a few of Marvin's points. Every company has its own mission, values, metrics to measure success. For us, putting our team and the community in front of simply getting bigger was our goal all along. The real Hall of Fame winners for Rock Creek are sitting at these two tables. They are our family, our leadership teams, both past and present. This award is yours. You truly are the deserving ones, and we're accepting this award for you. I want to acknowledge each of the senior team members for a moment. Jonathan Scott, the most senior member, Rock Creek's president and current co-owner. You're a man of high integrity, outstanding values. And I will always remember the countless times you've worked to 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning because you deemed it necessary. I can also remember many times on business trips waking up in the middle of the night in the same hotel room with one light on, and that was the light of your computer with you hard at work. And you couldn't sleep anyway. He's the worst snorer I've ever heard. I mean, the worst. Chad Weichel, vice president and co-owner with Jonathan, my brother. You are one of the most likable and competitive people I've ever met. You light up a room, and you have never backed away from a challenge. You have always wanted more responsibility, and your shoulders are broad. Sarah Lewis, you're a natural leader, and you have a heart of a lion, and you're our nurturer. A standout moment with Sarah was Chad and I were on a business trip out in California. Sarah was delivering a very big message to one of our vendors negotiating a deal, and as we got out of the car, she slammed her hand in the back door and asked us simply to unlock the door so she could remove her hand. Chad and I were horrified by the event, and we were certain that we needed to take her to the hospital. She simply looked at us and said, "Let's do this," and marched straight in and ran that meeting. It was impressive. Jim Sapir, Rock Creek's GM. You're one of the most selfless and loyal people I've ever met. You've controlled every retail employee's schedule, and you always took the worst shifts. You put yourself last, the company first, and the staff first. You've been able to be the perfect bridge between management and all our retail teams. Josh Legg, your talents are many, and you have been the cornerstone for all our build-outs and all our merchandising and all our layouts. Your efforts in visual merchandising have been acknowledged on a national level, and your merchandising blog has been used throughout the industry. Brandon Weiss, I can't even say your name without smiling. You are so efficient, yet you have the demeanor of a surfer. When Marvin would ask, "Brandon, have you done this?" or "Brandon, have you done that?" Brandon would always look up and said, "I did it yesterday." You provide a smooth flow at times to very stressful situations. And Orion Lovins, you are our true Southern gentleman. A great role model to all of us at Rock Creek, top to bottom. You're always willing to take new challenges or technical roles and educate yourself to be exceptional at whatever you do. And to past team members, Mark McKnight, during your time, you led our rebranding and our website and all our web business. You were the developer and keeper of our brand book. And on a funny note, you're also like a Lamborghini. You're very expensive and very fast. You were instrumental in all our brand messaging and all our marketing. And finally, Matt Sims, our first GM and dear friend. You taught us the value of treating a prisoner and your grandmother in the same way. You showed and set a standard for all managers to follow. And I remember the day you left. And you said to me, "If I did my job well, you'll not even know I'm gone." What an empowering statement that was. Finally, a word about my partner, Marvin Webb. You're a man that is always 3 steps ahead of everyone while wanting to appear 1 step back. You have an uncanny way of planting seeds and letting us discover them and acting surprised when we would say, I've got a solution or I have an idea. And you would quietly acknowledge the idea or decision, never wanting to shine the light on yourself. We came to Rock Creek as outdoor educators and outdoor activists, wanting to teach and share our experiences, lessons, and technical knowledge, both about the outdoor sports and the equipment necessary to have an enjoyable and safe experience. To that end, we became reluctant retailers. 32 years ago, Chattanooga was a very different place than it is today. And with that in mind, we welcome the opportunity to work with nonprofits, government committees, and task force with the goal to making Chattanooga the outdoor town and community we knew it could be and is today. We are thankful for the opportunity and the role we played in making Chattanooga an outdoor destination. And we thank all of you.
Oh, I just love these evenings. I just love hearing these stories. They're always so amazingly just inspiring. Can we just give one more big round of applause for all of our inductees? So that concludes our evening for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We do want to ask for Kenzie, Jeff, Dawson, and Marvin and your families to please come up so we can get some pictures. Have a great night, everybody.